welcome to the very first one-shot of the Role Slayers podcast. We have new friends here, and a new table, and a new space. So this is Jed, Natalie, and George, and Jeremy as always. And John's back there. Hello, John.
Hi, you can't see me.
I love you, though. Anyway, we have a really cool new table that I built with my own manly hands and a new space. So hopefully this will enhance your viewing process going forward. And we decided to test it with a really awesome one-shot. So, without further ado, thank you to Beyond Skyrim and Sirenscape, because they are awesome.
They are.
That's all of my announcements, because I just want to play D&D.
Short
Bye.
announcements tonight.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's because you don't have me rambling about
World Anvil.
about elephants, war elephant cannons in the Civil War or whatever. So, let us descend into the shadow in the heart of Stormcleft. On the continent of Iudosos, 4 adventurers from vastly different walks of life were called. They received a letter from one Maldor Stiffwind, an air Genasi merchant from the town of Stormcleft, bidding them to meet him in the city to discuss a job. He writes of a disappearance within a manor and states that he's looking for adventurers of renown to come and investigate. So, hearing the call, these 4 journeyed to the Gimsom Heights above the Shindao Basin. Each of them trekked their way into the mountains and found stairs carved deep into the rock, twisting up the western side of a great chasm cleft into the mountainside. Jeremy and Natalie, your characters, arrive around the same time and come upon 2 strangers talking to the guards. Jed and George, you are those 2 strangers. So, you arrive to discourse between the guards and George's character and Jed's character, named
Fisher and Gendrain.
If you'd like to describe your characters, you may.
Gendrain is a autumn Eldraine. He is fairly lithe, as you would imagine most elf folk are. He does have almost ruddied red skin, like the color of red clay. He has very matted hair with odd twigs and leaves that you'll find in it. He doesn't sport much in the way of weaponry, but he does have, some simple traveler's clothing on, some mud-ridden boots, and a small half cloak over his left arm. And just a plain looking fella.
So you see that, and then you see Jed's character.
Fisher is the opposite of lithe, standing probably a little bit to a distance, not engaging in conversation. You would see a tiefling, but really only the head of a tiefling, because from the neck down is obscured in sort of a wide collared cloak that goes all the way down to the ground. So it's a sort of a dark blue cloak, and then protruding from it is the face of a pale, sort of jaundiced tiefling whose horns grow sort of straight back in a very slight angle from the forehead and appear as though the end of like sticks that have been pulled from campfires. They are like black and cracked and a little knobbly towards the forehead, and then a little ashy and white flaking at the very tips with imperceptible glow deep in the little cracks of the horns, and the hair is sort of matted back against the head with small scattered little silver beads spread throughout. And then protruding from the cloak, you would probably see one metallic hand holding a long, thin chain that holds like this heavy orb at the end, which is emitting this thick, herby or spice-smelled smoke.
Awesome. The guards, seeing your two characters come up the stairs, heading towards the gate, kind of clock you, and one of them kind of acknowledges you. State your business. Lots of visitors here at Stormcleft today. If you guys want to describe your characters coming up now that they're addressing you, you may.
Yeah, Bryn looks like she's in her 30s, maybe mid-30s. She is a high elf, but she looks like a human. She has short, very thick and wavy, curly, blackish brown hair. Brownish black, whatever. And she looks pretty normal. In fact, maybe a little bit on the disheveled side. She has some leather armor under a really baggy long sleeve shirt and really baggy brown pants that kind of cinch at her ankles. Normal kind of brown boots. All kind of normal. But she also has just a pretty rapier that she tries to hide because she's normal.
Yeah. Love that. Jeremy?
Hello. I'm Virgil. I was summoned here by a letter. And you would see that he's an Earth Genasi of the equivalent of like maybe in 45 in age in human years. So kind of definitely midlife. His hair is fading on top. A little bit of like a comb over action, maybe a little too long to be cool. And a beard, not terribly long, kind of scruffy, and you're kind of wondering maybe growing a beard wasn't the right choice. And but his eyes are very kind, and they beget a certain kind of pity or empathy, so to speak. And so he's wearing like kind of a cloak going over most of him, and he has sort of this. You see his hair because he takes down his cap in order to greet people. So in one hand, he removes his cap and you see the comb over, but he has this like a felt, just skull cap that he keeps covering his hair. And he's under this big brown nondescript cloak. Who knows what he's wearing underneath because you're really not paying attention. And he's leaning on a snake-shaped staff. Staff that it kind of looks like has been carved into a snake. And yeah,
awesome.
So he says, someone is summoning a hero, I believe.
Yes. Are you all? You too? And he points to Bryn.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
yeah. Here's the letter.
These two as well. So you're trying to find Mr. Stiffwind?
Wait. I'm sorry. I thought I would be working alone. It's
Oh no, this is. I assume he's summoned multiple people, so
okay.
I don't know. You'll have to take it up with Mr. Maldor.
Okay. That's all right.
Fisher would turn at that remark to, what was his name?
Virgil.
And turning at him and making eye contact, and I say that loosely because one of them looks to be like a bit of a dead eye and doesn't turn with the other, and says, "Do not fret. We work well with others."
Yeah, Bren slaps gently Virgil's back and says, "Come on, we're a team." I guess.
Yeah, okay. I guess it's okay that. She touched me. I suppose that'll be all right.
You see the guard signal, and the gate starts to open up, and they lead you into the city along a winding path. The building's mostly carved from stone or made from large, what looks to be quartz blocks, kind of grayish white. And above these tall, thin buildings, you see a stone dome peeking above the skyline to the west. Its windows seemingly made from a shimmering blue type of crystal. As you turn east on the path, you are greeted with your first view of the chasm that you just climbed up over. Above the massive drop are lines crisscrossing back and forth, as well as what looks to be rotund birds circling and flying across. As you get closer, you see these are large glider calves with triangular, dark feathered sails. Higher above, you can see multiple dragon-like creatures, wyverns, flying. I think we're gonna have to cross. I think he's probably at the Windsong Tavern. Is that okay?
Aye.
All right.
Not a problem here.
Okay. Just go. And he points off to a 3-story building made of stone. He says, "Go that way. Tell them the guards sent you. You won't have to pay anything. You need anything else?"
Nope. I guess we're gonna go.
Okay. Well, we're gonna get back to our post. Have a good stay here in Stormcleft.
Thanks.
And you can proceed to the stone building if you like, or you can just go anywhere you want. I don't care.
She goes to the building.
Presuming we've been summoned here for a job, I think that's where we would probably all
You don't
head.
want to make this a shopping episode?
Come on, Tyler.
I mean,
Are you joking me right now?
I packed a whole 20 copper.
I built a whole city for you, Jed.
Hey man, could you come guest in my campaign? By the way, we'll be shopping for 3 episodes.
Oh,
Just kidding.
okay. All right.
I detect a little salt.
So, yeah, he would
Sure.
put his cap back on and sort of shuffle off in that direction, kind
Okay.
of following the others.
Yeah, it's almost a tower. It's a 3-story building that's kind of square, but there's stairs kind of going up the sides to the 3rd story. And you follow your way up there, and are met in the room upstairs by a pair of sky blue wyverns beside small benches with bars atop them, and a burly, kind of portly Genasi, whatever it's called, with kind of light blue frizzy hair and a looks like a broken nose, kind of petting one of them. Says, "Yeah, what can I do for you?"
We are sent by the guards.
Oh, you need to get across, I assume.
You know, those kind men over there, they told us to come to you and to say, yes, we need to get over there, please.
Yeah, say no more. And he picks up a large saddle and just slams it across the back of one of the wyverns and then says, "Boy!" And you see a small, maybe 14, 15-year-old Genasi. Saddle up the other one. We're going to need 2. The other one gets saddled up by the young boy and he says, "All right, sit down." And points to the benches.
Fisher
All right.
takes a seat with a bit of a thud, and you can kind of hear the metal jingle of one or more belongings underneath the cloak, and some more of this a spice-smelling, scented smoke escapes from under the cloak.
2 per bench.
Gendrain will kind of follow suit behind you, imagining we'll probably need someone light to travel with you. Right, make room.
Right, I guess we'll take our seats.
Yeah.
You all get seated, and they mount their wyverns, and you can now see there's a hole in the ceiling where they fly up without you. And then one comes down swooping and picks the bar up with its feet and flies back out over the cavern, followed by the second wyvern, and starts to glide over this very, very deep chasm. And those of you who are afraid of heights, or even not afraid of heights, may feel a bit uncomfortable as they are gliding over. But you see these lines that were crisscrossing over the chasm are actually zip lines, as well as you see multiple air cabs as well. And then the wyvern riders up top seem to be more guardsmen. But there are a few wyverns that are carrying people back and forth. It seems like travel between the 2 clefts of this chasm are quite common within Stormcleft. Hence the name. But you do make it across safe and sound. They land and let you disembark, and then take off across the chasm again, free of charge, as the guards sent you. You were directed to the Whistling Wind Tavern, but before you is it's different from the West Cleft, which would seem to be more governmental and mercantile in nature. This seems to be more residential and entertainment centered. So as you kind of disembark, you see a few things. You see out over the actual chasm, you see what looks to be a theater that has hanging platforms that are suspended, but nothing currently going on.
Beeline to the theater and just ask Tyler to act out a play for the next 3 hours.
I've done a play in the Role Slayers already. I can do another. It was mostly just Shakespeare humor. But you see a few kind of entertainment buildings, and then a lot of kind of these small, like little tower stone buildings that seem to be residential in nature. It looks like each floor is occupied by a different group of people, almost apartment style. But you can easily find your way down. Actually, you do pass a very interesting building. It is a jut of pure rock that's just spiking out at a diagonal kind of angle, where it seems like wyverns are flying into the top to roost.
Towards the cleft or away?
Away. Or towards, sorry. It juts out from the side of the mountain towards the cleft. But it's just this angular sort of spike that it seems the griffins have made home inside, or not griffins, wyverns have made home inside. You also notice that all the wyverns are this sky blue. It looks like they've been specifically bred to almost match the sky.
Bit of a natural camouflage.
Exactly.
Mhm.
That's kind of the vibe you pick up. But you do find your way down to the Whistling Wind Tavern, asking some directions. It is an interesting tavern. And you've all been in Iodosos for quite some time. You've seen some interesting things within the magocracy of the Shang Brotherhood. But nothing quite like this. It is a stone tavern that seems to be half above the chasm and half on the cliff, with 2 chains attached to the cliffside edge that stretch to towers to kind of anchor it, and 2 large clefts in the wall, 2 just big old holes in the wall. But it is a no steepled roof, just flat roof like all the other buildings in the settlement, and it seems to be a simple square building.
That's some pretty neat architecture.
Yes, I guess it is quite interesting. Shall we?
Yeah.
All right. You enter the establishment. It is the first word that would strike you is clean. It is very clean here, and there are tables and a bar, as well as some benches that look to be mostly made of reclaimed wood, or almost, there's no ocean around here, but driftwood. It seems like there's not much in the likes of trees that grows up here, so they're kind of harvesting everything they can get. But it's well carved, and at the bar there is a woman with kind of bright blue hair and pale white skin who clocks you. For visitors, we don't get many up here.
Yeah.
We are working.
Oh,
We were asked to come help.
oh, you're here for Mr. Maldor.
Oh, yeah.
Well, come
Yeah,
on,
that's the
he's
name.
in the back. I'll show you. She walks around the bar and it takes you to a back room. Another thing that strikes you is how, one, there's a gentle breeze within the building and how cool it is. And those of you who have a high enough intelligence kind of put together, two and two together, those clefts in the side of the building must connect to some sort of tubing system that generates a microclimate, AC, if you will, within the tavern. So it's nice and chilly. But you make your way into the back room, which does have some windows over the cleft, as well as a small glass floor. And Maldor's sitting at a table and he kind of greets you. Hello, you must be... 1, 2, 3, 4. This is everyone.
I'm Virgil, and I wasn't. I didn't know that we were all working together. I thought this was a solo venture. I hope that's. I feel like that should have been made apparent in the writing. I don't recollect.
Oh, well, my apologies. No, I didn't clarify. Well, is that going to be an issue?
Well, I'll have to get back to you on that.
Okay. Well, come sit down. Let's get into it, I guess. I'll outline the details of the job, and if you find teamwork to be less than satisfactory, Virgil, perhaps I don't know. Perhaps you split up when you get in there.
Is that barmaid still in here?
She's not, but if you have a question, you can direct it towards
No,
her.
if she was still in there, that's where Fisher would have asked something. But if she's
Okay.
left, don't worry about it.
Yeah, she just kind of showed you in. Well, sit down. As you know, I've called you here. Essentially, there is a man, a cloud giant. His family has been here for generations. His name is Viscaris Nimbus. If you want to write that down, it's Viscar.
Is that Latin for thick cloud?
Thick cloud? No, I wish. Thick with 2 C's. What is that in Latin?
I think it's just
Viscaris,
Nimbus.
what? Nimbus?
Nimbus.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Stars Nimbus.
He and his family have lived here for generations, but it was just him for quite some time. But they have a manor here, and he's a friend. I check in on him from time to time, but he's stopped coming out recently. So I've sent multiple groups of folk in to check on him. None of them have returned. So I thought, something must have happened to him and my people I sent in. So I was hoping that I could get some adventurers of more substance to investigate and perhaps find out what either took him or is keeping him from leaving, or God's forbid killed him. I'm hoping that he's alive, but I doubt it. Is this something that I'll pay well if that's what you're after? But is that something you could accomplish, perhaps for me?
It's what gets me paid, so I'm in.
I don't need any coin. I got your letter. You're asking for some help, so I'm here to help.
Well, I insist on paying, but the sentiment is welcome.
Fine, pay them more. I need not of your coin, honestly.
Very well.
Well, and I'm not to be one who's greedy by any touch, but I would be doing this for the money.
Sure.
Okay, and I can lend my services if you find that they're helpful to you. I would be happy to.
Let's talk money then. Is that without his share, amongst the three of you?
Virgil, right?
Yeah, hi.
Hi.
Yes, Virgil. You're remind me of your name.
It's Gendrine, but you can call me Gendry.
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 That's what most folks call me.
That's easier to say.
It is. I see you have some sort of hesitation in working with others. So if my coin helps in, bringing you over to the side of teamwork,
Well,
seems like good coin usage to me.
I mean, I'm still weighing it. I think it would be maybe a little bit easier on my sentiments if perhaps we cataloged our proficiencies and maybe we get to know one another a little bit.
You're gonna have to run that by me again.
Maybe we could get to know each other a little bit, and maybe why you're here, why you're renowned, and
that seems like a fair point.
That sounds good. To be honest, I kind of work by myself too, but I always welcome help. So I think talking about what we're good at.
I don't think that it's so much that I'm if I might interject. It's not that I'm opposed to teamwork. I was surprised by it.
Yeah.
And
it should have been
I think
in
it should
writing.
be. Yes, thank you. Maybe I'm just trying to make that known. In the future, I'd like to be notified if I.
Let me be one to purvey the good working with others can bring. As I've done it many times, I've made a lot of good friends that way. I, in fact, think about, say, a month ago, I met a really nice skunk.
A skunk?
Aye.
Well,
Okay.
You look like a friendly type. And,
I try.
As he says that, you notice that like some of his skin molts off and falls like a drip of mud onto the floor. As he's constantly, you can't see it, but it's like when you look at your what's that soup thing? The soy soup you get at Japanese miso soup. Thank you. It's like when you're looking at your miso soup and you're like, oh, it's just soup. And then you let it sit for a second and it starts to move. It's kind of like if you focus in on it a little bit, that's what you start to see happening in his skin. And it drips off, making the point that friends maybe don't come as easily. So,
Bit of your face is on the floor there, man.
I'm terribly sorry about that, Mr. Maldor.
Just call me Mr. Stiffwind.
Stiffwind. I'm terribly sorry about that. I fear that there's maybe nothing I could do.
This is no problem. As long as we're comfortable working together, it seems we may be. Let's talk reward. I like to be upfront. I am a merchant. I know haggling can be a thing. But if you are indeed abstaining from your bit of the share, divided a bit amongst the three of you, that totals out to 6,600 gold pieces each.
Yeah, I'm down for that.
Oh, that would be sufficient for quite some time.
We find this agreeable.
Very well, very well. Okay, well,
How many of them are he?
How many what?
Oh, nothing. Sorry, I was mumbling aloud.
Oh, okay, well, do you need directions or do you need lodging for the night to prepare? Or?
Cool water.
Cool water, that I can do.
I would say it depends on the rest of you all. If we want to spend time to kind of really, calculate our capabilities as a team, I think that's wise. But I'm good with staying outside.
Well, I can give you directions to the manor. It's just down the road, towards the mountain. It's actually built into the mountain, so you shouldn't have a problem finding it. And I can get you some cool water. Just ask the barmaid, and I'm sure she'll. It's on the house.
Many thanks.
If there's any other assistance I can be of, let me know. Otherwise, I must return to my store.
Thank you for the opportunity, and maybe I should say I apologize for my for being maybe a little confrontational at the beginning there.
Not a problem, my boy. It happens. There are stipulations to contracts, of course. It comes with the wandering mercenary in you.
Mercenary.
Your friend,
My friend?
this giant,
Yes, Viscaris.
do you know if your friend is a practicer of the occult or of the arcane?
A cult? I don't think so, but perhaps, who knows? It's a secret that's probably kept, if so. Arcane, most cloud giants are practitioners of the arcane in some inherent way, but perhaps a bit of the practiced form. I'm not sure.
Thank you. One more question. Does your friend keep a standing army or men-at-arms?
Viscaris. No, he was quite alone at the end. Cooks, gone. Gardener's gone. No one but him.
So were the people disappearing a little at a time, or
No.
did he dismiss them for service, or?
Let me clarify. They were a more wealthy family within Stormcleft, and through fate and other ill fortunes, some of them passed on, and some of them left in ill temper, and it left Viscaris to be the one to inherit the estate and its properties and its incomes and its upkeep. But at some point, he decided to dismiss everyone and lived by himself for quite some time, at least 10 years.
When did you notice that he wasn't around?
Oh, he stopped coming out of the house perhaps a month ago.
Do you have a picture of him, or
No, I'm sure there are portraits of him within the establishment.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
They did like to get a good portrait commission from time to time.
I bet he's kind of hard to miss as a cloud giant.
Oh, sure, they're the only family of cloud giants currently residing in Stormcleft. Back a few centuries ago, there were a fair amount of families, but they've kind of wandered off and done
it's
their
just
own thing.
down to him.
Just down to him. So I'd really hope that he's alive and that you could rescue him from this predicament, whatever it might be.
Well, let's hope.
He's hoping. See her about that cool water on your way out. I'm going to go back to my storefront.
Oh, and thanks for thinking of me.
No problem. You all come highly recommended.
I would hope.
Well, pleasure meeting you. Hopefully, I'll see you soon.
Oh, the pleasure was all mine.
He just kind of nods and makes his way out and towards the, it looks like the Wyvern taxi stand.
Fisher heads to the main tavern.
Okay, yeah, and you can pick up some nice ice cold water. It looks like they may have a refrigeration system with this cold air of some sort, but it's very cool.
This pleases us.
Us?
Okay.
I just wanted to let you know that we're working together will not be a problem. I just was a bit surprised.
I'm glad to hear it, man. And he just like gives you a good pat on the back.
Okay. Thank you. I will take that as a gesture of goodwill, and thank you. Don't touch me again.
Sure.
Does that make you more uncomfortable?
A little. It's okay. Never mind. I it's acceptable.
No,
Thank you.
Matt, if you don't want to be touched, that's perfectly fine. I respect that. And, you know, you're inclined to your own opinions and ways of your being that you're comfortable with.
Thank you.
Is there a different way that you would prefer encouragement? What about you got this?
Yeah, he starts to get beat red. The attention kind of being on himself, and you start to see the shame, or not the shame, but the embarrassment. And it's like that time, those times when you drew the attention to yourself, hoping to not draw the attention to yourself. Yeah, and then you're like, no, I'm fine. I'm fine. I just wanted to say that it wasn't anything against any of you fine folk.
No offense taken.
So my name's Virgil. I, as you can tell, I'm in Earth Genasi. I apologize for and then his face falls on the floor again. And so I have a molting problem, and that's part of the reason why I kind of keep to myself. But I am a friend to all, to animals, plants, and of course to all of you. So I'd be happy to help. That would be okay. That'd be okay. Yeah, I think it'll be okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
We do not find the lack of your physical integrity off-putting.
What they said.
Well, it brings me a great deal of comfort. I appreciate it.
I feel like you would like the spotlight shifted a bit towards perhaps someone else for a moment.
Sure. My abilities, I want to just let you know that I work in numbers myself. I will summon many of friends to help me in a pickle. I like pickles, but in the situational sense, pickle.
Is this a talent?
It's ability. I learn. I'm druid. I'm a druid.
Ah.
Oh, okay.
I know many fine druid folk.
You have magic.
I do. I suppose I should have said that from the start. I'm sorry. I sometimes don't know what to say in a big crowd.
No worries, man. You're doing just fine.
Thanks.
Yeah. I do magic.
What about you? Bryn, was it?
Yeah, I'm Bryn. Well, I have the sword. No, it's a rapier. Sorry. Above table. Yeah.
Leave the table. It's a rape. You messed up sword and rapier.
Yeah. Well, whatever blade I come across, I can do that stuff. But I have magic too. I am. This is what I do. Find people. I have magic to help me. Guide me along the way of finding whatever I need to find.
You're kind of like me. I'm a bit of a tracker myself.
Oh yeah.
Specialize in lost people and persons and things.
I also can understand a lot of languages, and so if we get caught up somewhere, potentially I can help with that too. But yeah, I
Well-
like to use my sword.
Well met. It's always good to find someone who knows their way around a sword as well.
Yeah.
Not that, summoning creatures at your beck and call isn't a
course.
talent. It surely is.
Yeah, and what about you, Gendry?
Oh, I'm just one of your fair folk who,
He said you are a renowned adventurer, so I assume you're being humble in this moment.
I don't really know how it came to be renowned, really. I just watch over my neck of the woods, make sure everything's good. No one's...
By what means?
Well, I try to make sure everything is, peaceful in a sense, and no one really tries to muck it about. So I care for the beings. I care for the trees and the things you find out in the outlands. And if someone tries to harm these poor things that can't hardly take care of themselves, I make sure that they understand that there's someone there that's not going to allow it. So, and in doing so, I may have curried favor of someone a lot more influential than myself. So, I am also a purveyor of the magics, but I imagine the lot of you are far more graceful than I am.
I don't necessarily like the term graceful.
Well, a lot more proficient is what I'll say. I'm still trying to get a hold of whatever's going on. But yeah, I know my way around a sword, and if the moment arises and I need to dabble in a bit of the more arcane, I suppose I could do that too.
You have a lot of tricks.
It would seem like it, yeah.
Mhm. And you, Fisher?
He's an interesting...
Fisher
well,
regards the
they're
other
a-
three with his one good eye and says, "Yes, we are called Fisher. We crush things that oppose us, and we surmise we have been called because we are also good with children."
That's an important skill. I did not mention that.
I can't.
Oh dear. Well met, Fisher and Fisher and Fisher. Fisher?
Well, you say us, and we. Are there more of you in you?
It is only us.
But who is us?
We are Fisher.
Ah, that makes sense.
Best not to dwell on it, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, what do you do?
I'm
Fishers?
You would all probably have, because he's standing right in front of you, he sort of like lifts his left arm, his left shoulder a little bit, and sort of speaks down to his shoulder a little bit and says, "I'm not talking to you."
So what?
Repeat your question.
Your arm? You're talking to your arm.
Listen, not every time you talk toward your arm are you talking to your arm.
No, we're not. He smiles a bit.
Okay, so you crush things.
Yes, we do.
Cool.
With this. And with this, you can see this gaunt metallic hand. What at first appeared to be a gauntlet is actually a thin kind of metal framed hand with plating on the back of it. It is a prosthetic hand holding that thin chain and the sensor below. You can see now that it is not a fragile cage of metal. It's actually a hefty piece of perhaps iron or some alloy.
Mm-hmm.
We hit things with this.
Wow.
It is also a means for our various ceremonies, one of which you may perceive our talent, and the smoke kind of billows up from under Fisher's cloak a bit, and with arms kind of outstretched, you can see underneath the part in the cloak, there's at least two more much smaller sensors hanging from the waist that are also giving off the smoke, and you can see it kind of rise. Is there a second story in this tavern?
There is, yes.
Like over the bar
There
or
is,
something?
yeah.
You can see the smoke kind of rise up a bit, and then it sort of forms a small cloud over the bar, and then Fisher fades into the smoke, and you can see him apparate on the second story.
Well, that's a handy trick.
That is
Huh.
beautiful.
That's pretty cool.
And Fisher,
Alright.
you realize that you had to do a bit more of the smoke this time because it was quickly being evacuated by the AC system here. So you had to pump it up a bit.
The air is disagreeable, forgive us.
Yeah,
No,
it's
it's
fine. It's
just-
good. Yeah,
Well,
that's a spicy smell there. Oh,
It smells a little bit like, almost like, there's a hint of like, almost like moldy, musty, perhaps even corpse smells here.
Well, well met, everyone. I hope that me and my friends would be a help in uncovering this individual. It seems a bit like there's too many of us, but if no one else has come out, perhaps there's not. I'll be very grateful to serve alongside you.
likewise.
So, what next?
Well, there was the thing about the inn. You guys are privy to staying indoors overnight. We could try to figure out where our plan of attack is, or my suggestion, we could just sleep outside.
You did arrive around 10, 11 a.m., so you would have some downtime before resting if you'd like.
But we have been traveling.
You have been traveling, so rest might be welcome in preparation. It's up to you. I'm just giving you time of day.
How long would we have been traveling for?
For you, were you around Sandstone Sanctuary when you got the letter, or would you be further off? Okay.
Just different places.
Sure, you were probably on the eastern coast of Iodosos. You've been traveling probably the better part of 2 weeks. You got the letter quite quickly for a month of disappearance, so you assume that he utilized some sort of magic courier service.
Okay. Well, I've personally been traveling for quite some time, and while I'm not one to partake in many luxuries, it does seem like we do have a bit of a payday, and after 2 weeks of travel, I think that it would be okay. Would it be okay? I think it would be okay if I were to maybe stay one night in an inn to recover my health
yeah.
and strength.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that sounds just fine.
We do not mind delaying. The water is delicious. You can see Fisher's now standing behind the bar.
The woman hears you.
Are you-
behind her and just? Oh!
Pay him no mind. He's with us. I don't think that helped.
He gave me a fright. Yes.
Forgive us, more water, please.
This is an employee only area. If you mind, going back into the patron section.
With clunky metallic steps, Fisher just walks out around the bar.
Four rooms for the night. Mr. Stiffwinds arranged it. Yes. Let me know if you need anything. Breakfast will be in the morning.
Candles.
Candles? I can do candles.
Do you
How
have?
many candles?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you happen to have a breakfast that doesn't include any sort of like meat or stuff.
Yes. Well, I was actually going to do just assorted fruits and pastries for breakfast.
Ooh, pastries.
Yeah, that sounds really good.
We like pastries.
Yeah.
Who doesn't, really?
He doesn't. Fisher gives kind of a disgruntled look down at the floor a bit, then perks back up.
Right.
Right. Okay.
But, she doles out 4 stone keys. I won't bother you, except I'll bring you some candles. Have a restful evening. I'll serve dinner as well. No meat.
Thanks.
Each of you can go to your rooms. A multitude of candles is brought to Fisher's room eventually that he can surround himself in if he'd like. And you experience a long rest. Nothing to worry about, nothing to make you nervous, but it is nice and cool. You actually have to have 2 thick blankets to kind of cover up with. A couple of you have windows directly over the large cleft in the earth, and makes for a good sunrise because it takes a while to get over the side of the mountain, but once it does, it's like this beam of light spreading across the chasm slowly. You have your breakfast, and the day is yours.
I guess those who would wake up first would probably note that Gendry's actually walking in from outside.
Did you spend the night outside?
Well, he didn't need the full night's rest. He only needed about 4 hours.
Yeah,
So he actually snuck out of his own window and then just spent the morning outside.
In the nice, cool pre-dawn.
Mm-hmm.
You'd probably see Bren too, because she as well only needs just a few hours, and so she probably takes a walk outside or something.
Aye.
Yeah. Hey.
Well, I suppose that's to be expected from kinfolk,
Yeah. I guess I can't. Do you ever wish that you could sleep? Because that would be great.
Yeah. It would. Yeah. There are a couple times where it's come up.
Yeah. Well.
I take it your trance was good? Yeah?
Yeah, it's same old trance. I don't really do anything. Just sit there.
Yeah. We should probably go get the others, right?
As Virgil's exiting his room, or whenever he does, he would probably just see a slow trail of smoke exiting the bottom of one door.
You are an interesting sort.
Door's still shut.
Oh, he didn't come out.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yes.
Well, to each their own.
Yes, that's his room, I guess.
And then come out, eat his breakfast or whatever, and very polite and thankful. Thank you for the breakfast. It is much appreciated. Thank you.
It's no trouble. It's fresh. We have a few greenhouses. We don't have many crops that grow up here, so we have to. It's chilly, so we have to, concentrate that sunlight for the time that we have it. And so fresh berries and melons and the sort are kind of what we live on.
The jingle and clunk of Fisher descending the stairs
Just kind of
interrupts
just
the quiet.
pale-faced,
Mhm.
even more pale-faced for a second, obviously a little bit stressed out.
Cool water, please.
Okay, of course. She bustles into the back and gets a pitcher of cool water for you. A stone pitcher.
You would probably see Gendry just like stuffing his face full of pastries. The vegetables and the fruit medley off to the side. Just pastry
Bryn is
after
doing
pastry
the exact same
after
thing.
pastry. Oh, you've only wait wrong. What? Sorry. You sleep well.
Yes.
Well, if everyone's all assembled, I don't see any reason why we should not get started early.
I'm eating pastries.
Oh, of course, when we're finished with breakfast. of
We will
course.
wait until everyone else is ready to find the dead giant.
Oh,
Do you know he's dead?
Presumably he has not been seen, and presumably he does not own a garden.
That doesn't mean that. Okay.
Whereupon does he find his food?
Who knows? What a mystery we have to unfold. I can't wait.
I can't either, so I'm gonna stuff my pockets full of these pastries and I'm ready to go whenever you all are.
Good idea.
We will be ready. And Fisher just goes to stand facing outside the door.
NPC stance, engage.
Just full T-pose, everything.
Yes. One by one, you finish your breakfast and get ready. Gather your equipment and make your way out of the tavern towards the mountain as directed. And sure enough, it is a very easy building to find. I don't know how many of you are familiar with the historical building Petra in Jordan. It is a large, like kind of red rock building carved into the side with like these pillars and buttresses and fake windows and whatnot. It is like Petra mixed with Doctor Strange's Sanctum Sanctorum, where it is this kind of gray stone, almost bricks carved into the side, even though it's just a cliff face, you know, with a large, towering giant-sized door and a giant-sized circular window above.
How far did we travel, or how long did it take us to get to the...
It took you about 5 minutes. It's a smaller town.
Okay.
It's probably, it wouldn't even be considered a city.
So, just so that I'm clear, this building hasn't seen the resident leave in about a month.
Maybe a month and a half.
And it's in town.
It is in town.
Okay.
Full, like people would notice him coming in and out.
Got it.
But no one has seen him exit.
Okay.
You think this is the right place?
We have not seen another door for giants.
That's fair.
Looks like it.
This building also matches the description we were given.
That's also true.
On the way up, Virgil, I think we would look for any signs of animal friends or anything that he could speak to, just to see if they had seen anything.
Sure, make a
full day cycle.
make a survival check for me.
And could I assist him in that?
Sure. If, you're obviously kind of looking around for that.
Mm-hmm.
Pardon me, I just want to see if I can find any friends to give us some more information.
Sure. Are you using the help action, or are you wanting
Help
to roll
action.
as well? Okay, so roll at advantage.
It's 23.
23.
So you're kind of looking around on the ground for maybe like a gecko or some sort of kind of mountainous goat tracks of some sort, and Gendry kind of nudges you and nods over, seeing that you're kind of looking for nature, like animals and whatnot, and then you notice a small little almost like a hawk that is perched on one of the roofs. It's kind of pruning itself. It looks like it's got a dead mouse in its claws.
Hi, man. Up there.
Excuse me. And he's asking. About. Hey, have you seen the giant? Have you seen anything through the windows? As you circled the, kind bird, hawk, sir, madam, have you seen any cloud giants or any movement within the is it a house? Is it a manor?
It's a manor.
Manor.
House.
The manor here, and you would just gesture toward it. Within the past week or so, in your recollection.
Not in a week. But 2, 3 ago, he stood looking out the window.
So you saw him 3 weeks ago.
Roughly, and time is different for us.
Maybe 20 or so moons ago. Then
Yes.
he was looking out his window. Thank you very much. We're looking for this individual, this giant individual. Would you have any other helpful information? We're afraid that he might be hurt or worse.
No, not that I can think of. I just hunt around here.
Well, you've been most kind, and I do appreciate your time. You have a wonderful day, and I hope your hunt goes well.
And squeaks back at you.
Perfect. Well, I just talked to that beautiful hawk there, and he told me that he saw the owner of the manor 3 weeks ago, standing in the window.
Huh.
I thought it was a lovely conversation.
Well, that's useful information for sure.
So at least there's been some movement. Shall we talk to others around town, or should we just go in?
How do you suppose we do that? Go in?
Try the door?
Presumably, guards were able to enter and
Aye.
have not been seen since.
Sure. So who's opening the door?
We will approach the door.
Okay. You attempt to push it open, and it does move. So it's not locked, but there's a little bit of resistance. If you want to make an athletic check for me.
Is make a 10.
10?
Yep.
Just what you needed. DC of 10. You shove the door open part of the way, just like a crack enough for you guys to get through, pushing something aside that was up against it. And as you file in, you find yourself in the entry hall. The hall itself is a long and tall hallway. At first glance, there is multiple paintings and flaming sconces on the walls of stone. And upon the floor next to the door are 3 corpses.
We have found bodies.
I feel like I think I've smelled this smell before recently.
Yeah, I was a little wasn't sure if it was your sensors there or something else. Turns out it's something else. Are these giant folk or?
These are Genasi. They seem to be people from the town.
Oh,
And they're right in the front of.
They were piled up almost like they were trying to get out of the door.
this doesn't bode well.
So facing the door.
Facing the door up against the door.
Can
You
I?
had to push them off the door.
Can I look through their personals and see if there is perhaps any letters
Sure.
from
Fisher
Maldor?
At the same time, Fisher would be looking for wounds or cause of death.
Sure.
I would do the same thing.
Medicine checks from you guys, investigation check for you.
I'll guide you.
Can I
Right.
do investigation?
Why you're trying to look for wounds? Or
Trying-
cause of death?
Cause of death.
That's
Okay. That's medicine.
If you want to give me advantage,
Yeah, go for it.
Help action?
Can you assist and guide?
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
assist and guide.
All right. We'll take that.
So you all start to kind of straighten out the bodies and take an actual clinical look at these folks.
Well,
2
that's
male,
really-
1 female.
22 investigation.
Okay.
I think that's 14 medicine.
Okay. We'll start with medicine. You guys kind of line them up. They're all wearing kind of half plate armor. It looks to be nice silver armor matching. These look to be guardsmen who had entered the establishment. Not mercenaries, but actual guards of Stormcleft. Medically, everyone is fine, except each of them sport a large, probably half-foot diameter hole in their chest, in the very center, almost where the sternum would be. And you kind of peek under the armor, and there's some necrosis kind of spreading out from the skin where the hole is. Investigation. You find on the female, she seems to be the lead guardsman of these three. A small kind of missive of investigate and report, and Viscaris is missing. It is signed by Mr. Stiffland as well.
Right.
As he said, it seems like he's kind of spearheading this.
Did he tell us how many guards he sent?
He just said he sent multiple waves of folks.
Okay.
So
Would,
this may be part of a group. This may be a group, but this is not all of them for sure.
I think what I was trying to do is more like Sherlock-y kind of stuff. Like if checking out any I don't know. Any little thing. I'm not a great investigator,
insight
but
check.
she's really good.
Make an insight check.
Trying to do
Using
investigation
the
here.
power of
Yeah.
deduction.
This is I'm giving you a Sherlock thing, but it's definitely an insight thing to roll for. I'm sorry.
Could I, while she's doing that,
Yeah, 7.
take a look at the wounds with necrosis and see if it was something that could have been done by some manner of beast or monster, or if it was something arcane?
Make an Arcana check. 7.
Yeah, I mean, she's not good
there
at
are
that.
some scuffles on a part of the stone where it seems like they were running and tripped and almost kind of fell over on their face, like almost like they stopped suddenly.
A 16 Arcana.
16. This necrosis could be natural. There is, mass necrosis that comes from certain creatures within nature, but it could also very much be something manufactured.
All right.
You give it about a 50-50.
After a few moments, would I be able to do that same thing?
How long are you
Arcana.
spending in the entry hall?
So, how large is the entry hall?
So it is probably about 60 feet long, with 50-foot tall, ceiling, as this is a giant's home. There are 3 doors on the entry hall, one to the left, one to the right, and one to the center. If you are spending some more time, you can try and investigate further if you'd like.
I'm gonna see you try to deduce what might have happened, and I'm gonna try to help you out. While doing that, though, you'll notice that Gendry, although not sporting any weapons on his person, will operate a almost gossamer-like bow and just kind of knock a semi-translucent arrow and just be on guard while helping you out.
Okay, yeah, can I do like an Arcana check?
What are you trying to...
I don't know the questions. I don't have good questions.
Are you trying to insinuate the same thing? Are you
I'm trying to do investigation or arcana to figure
I'll
out
I'll let you
things.
investigate further if you want to make an investigation check with the help action.
Okay.
You've found some spots where it seems like they have stopped suddenly and fell on their face. So let's see what else you can discern.
Is that with advantage or just straight?
He's using the help action for you, Gidry.
21.
Okay. It seems like when these sudden stops come and they fell on their face, it's strange. It seems like something must have stopped them, and then you do see drag marks as they were dragged back, and then it seems like they scrambled back to their feet to the door. So something must have grabbed them by either the foot or the leg and then pulled.
Something else was in here.
That's what it's looking like. Stay alert.
Yeah.
It might still be here. I'm gonna try to make a quick scan of the room to see if there's anything, and anything that could potentially be an antagonizing force of some, like an enemy of some kind.
Yeah, I can
Sure,
help.
make a general perception check.
Can I help with that?
And,
Sure.
You can go ahead, but at this point, pardon me. And then you see Virgil go into the shape of a dire wolf, and would also, for that same purpose, for the keen's hearing and smell.
Make a perception check for me, Virgil.
I got a 15 perception.
You don't see any enemies around. You do see several portraits on the wall depicting various members of a cloud giant family. You see a young male with kind of wispy, kind of cloudy chin hair that seems to be a portrait of a teenage Viscaris. Mother or father, few siblings, grandfather, grandmother, etc.
Mm-hmm.
And with the perception,
You can roll an
do I
advantage
do
if you're
use
doing
with
for
my-
smell or
do I-
hearing.
Do I use dire wolves smell
Mhm.
or wisdom, or do I use my wisdom?
You use the dire wolves, I believe. Wait, no, for druids.
For druids, you keep your same intelligence, wisdom, and charisma.
Yeah, okay, so
Okay, cool. Yeah, so then it would be perception would be 18.
you can take a kind of a deep, honing second where you listen. You hear not a thing. What you do happen upon is a small, like, just barely wisp of a scent. Not the scent of the smoke from Fisher, something different. Almost like this, like, dead, rotting vegetation. Like you left your carrots or your apples out too long, and there's kind of this dead smelling vegetation almost on the tip of your nose.
And he would make some sound like roar.
What is it, boy? What did you find?
Does everybody understand direwolf?
Let me check my languages.
No.
No one has to speak with animals.
But anyway, you'd be like, "Ruh," and begin to track toward the smell.
It is pervasive. There is no specific direction that you're going upon this.
Well, he doesn't eat vegetables, so he's uninterested.
There's no, I guess for Virgil, there's no notable source of it either, correct? There's nothing that he can...
You don't smell this.
Fisher
Right.
will begin wandering to the left door.
The left door. Okay. Are you guys following, or are you staying?
I would
Yeah.
like to look at those pictures.
Sure.
I'll
And-
keep a midpoint between them.
and see if I can figure out which one is the guy that we're looking for.
Sure. You were easily enough with the help of Gendry able to discern kind of which one Viscaris is by he kind of has like this gaunt face, but it seems like it tracks that he would be the one because during the early family portraits he was there. He's obviously the oldest of the siblings and has since grown up via portrait in front of you, so you can easily correlate what his face is. He has kind of a thin, gaunt face, and in his teenage years, it was a wispy, cloudy beard, but it's kind of turned into a fuller, almost like full beard, minus the mustache. It's almost like an Amish beard, and kind of a shock of blue hair with white streaked in it now in his middle age. Gray eyes, pale white skin.
Question for you, DM, just because I don't remember. What all is considered a creature?
Well, giants are considered humanoid creatures in nature. They are giants, so they are monsters in the monster manual. What's the...
I will try to locate creature.
Okay, let me double check the spell. Just to make sure.
It's the 4th level.
While he's doing that, Fisher, Gendry will definitely make sure that you're aware that he's got your back, but still at a distance because he still wants to be within the other group.
Fisher, not being very perceptive, doesn't pick up on it to appreciate it, but proceeds towards the door.
Right.
Okay. The casting time. So you see a brief kind of glow as an arcane incantation is said from Brandon. There's almost a radius of light that echoes out from her and then goes through the walls. Kind of like a radar ping. You don't get any pings back.
Nothing.
Within 1,000 feet of you.
Okay.
Push on the door.
Okay. The stone door shifts, much easier than the first, and opens onto what looks to be a parlor. There are grand sofas towering in scale, as well as side tables, and what seems to be a massive, crackling fireplace, also burning, just like the sconches. You can assume that it's either some sort of magic incantation or, ever-burning fireplace. And sitting on the side tables are an assortment of regular-sized lounge furniture. Hardwood floor. You enter?
Upon opening the door, is there a stronger, pungent smell, or is it the same pervasive, subtle decay smell?
Well, none of you smell this except for the direwolf.
Okay, then...
but I'm following, so I would be following.
Sure. It is pervasive as well.
So it's just pervasive.
Yes.
Let me know if it changes.
I will. I'll let you know.
All right, cool. Fisher's gonna walk in.
Okay.
Is it Fisher or Fissure?
Fisher.
Make a perception
Little
check
pun there
me
for
real
you.
quick.
Okay.
9. Thanks.
Yeah,
Are the rest of you following Fisher in?
I'll go back and I have locate creature up for an hour.
Okay.
Concentration.
I will kind of keep an eye on everything that's going on, while also being on high alert. Gendry would have noticed what Bren was doing and just kind of like, what was that? Where's the light?
Oh yeah, that's part of the stuff I said I'm good at. I have a spell up just to see if I can pick out where this guy is, if he's around.
Is he?
Not right now.
Huh.
Which of you entered last?
Huh?
Would have
parlor?
been second. Would have been right after for sure.
Okay.
Entering the parlor?
Yeah.
Oh, I would have been on the 6 for sure.
Should I have you make a wisdom saving throw for me as you enter the parlor?
Yes. Is this a charming effect?
It is not.
Okay.
And
Is that
just
for all of us?
upon immediately entering the room, are there further doors out of this
There
room?
is one door to the what would be the east, but it'd be the right side as you enter.
further back into the
Yes,
house.
further back in.
A 23 wisdom save.
You feel like a prickling kind of goose pimple at your neck and start to see kind of almost red, and then you shake it off. Something's playing with your mind.
Oi, 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 oi. No. Something's going on here.
What is it?
Something here is trying to influence my mind. I don't like it.
Fisher will look up.
Make a perception check for me.
18.
Your eyes have kind of adjusted a little bit to the light now.
One of them.
You look up. There are a couple cracks in the ceiling where it seems like these kind of tendrils of black, mushy substance have kind of spread across the wall. You do now see some of them kind of hanging from the walls as well, sprouting up from the floor even, cracking through the stone and the wood.
Actively? Like
They're not
as-
moving.
Oh, okay.
The invasive vegetation may be above us.
I take a look upwards.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. You now that he points it out, it's clear to see that there is. Now that you take a better look, these are kind of like almost vines that are sprouting from different parts of the establishment.
How high up?
The ceiling is about 50 feet, same as the entry hall.
Cool. I'm gonna sacred flame one of those vines.
Okay. Roll to hit, or is that a save?
It's a dex save.
Hold on.
While he's doing that, Virgil, as the dire wolf, is stalking the perimeter of the new room, investigating.
There's a 19 plus something save.
Oh yeah.
So half damage, or is that?
No, it doesn't hit.
Yeah,
Doesn't
Sacred Flame avoids it. Okay, so there's this like radiant light that goes up at it, and it kind of twitches a little bit and pulls out of the way.
Ew.
Can I see? Trying to figure out like what it may be made of.
Sure, make a nature or arcana check.
If you're doing Arcana, I'm going to try to assist you on that.
Do you want to roll as well, or do you want me to do it?
If we could discuss, probably you, because I'm
Fisher
not-
will make eye contact with Virgil and say, "It has agency."
Well, 2 and a 5.
Heal, boy, heal.
You have
13.
no idea what this is. Out of
13.
13.
Jeez.
And did Virgil find anything as he stalked the perimeter and investigated the new, was it a lounge?
Parlor?
Parlor?
Nothing. Same, synonymous. But nothing that you can discern, nothing new from this.
Okay.
You said there's
I'm just investigating a new room, so.
you said there's some on the ground, right?
Yeah, sprouting up from the floor through the wood and down from the walls even too.
I'm gonna try to take a torch, light it on the ever burning if I can, or light it just on my own. Just take a torch to it.
Sure. You take a torch to it and it starts to kindle and crackle, and you see it pull back in to the hole in the ground.
They don't seem to like fire as much.
I'll try my firebolt and test it too.
Same effect.
Perhaps these are roots, and we need to find a stem.
That's what it's looking like.
Yeah.
And
Or
then
brain,
Virgil exits the,
or heart.
as it exits the parlor.
Back into the entry hall.
Right, because it was just a room by itself. Didn't have
There is
any-
another door connecting deeper in,
Oh.
if you'd like. So
And remind me in the.
You might want to get your grid paper out, Jeremy.
All right.
Seeing nothing else and looking for what the source of the roots might be, Fisher would approach the second door.
Okay.
Or just start inclining that way.
Okay, so Fisher's headed towards the second door.
Is there any way to see if there's a certain direction that looks like there may be more roots? Like a place that isn't as scarce?
Seems pretty random
Okay.
to you. It's from all directions, floor, ceiling, and wall. It seems like whatever this is,
Not a place that.
it is indiscriminate in its
Okay.
direction.
Okay.
Smoke's gonna kick up around Fisher. I'll summon the echo.
Okay,
That's just
and
active.
describe that.
Yeah, I guess you would all see the smoke kind of concentrate around him as it's largely been trailing around his feet. It now kind of picks up, kind of climbing along the back of his cloak, and then you can see it almost taking steps with him. You can see the subtlest hints of matching horns coming up off of it.
Interesting. I have pencils in.
Perfect. Pencils are perfect.
So Fisher, you summon your echo.
Yep.
Pencil?
What would you like to do?
It's just gonna be with me.
I know. You're at the second door? You can open that, or you're gonna stay here.
We're opening door number 2.
Okay. For those of you who are behind Fisher, you do catch a glimpse of door number 2.
I will say, if I could, a moment before we venture out, if I could have Virgil, as his wolf form, sniff one of these vines to see if this is perhaps the
He does
source.
correlate the scent, the smell of rotting vegetation to these vines.
Okay.
Okay.
Awesome.
Cool.
And just to kind of backtrack just a little bit, we went into the main entry, and then we went to the parlor, which was on the left.
Yes, and there's a door going deeper in.
Okay.
So left and then right.
Forward, and then there are 2 doors in the entry hall, but one on the right and one at the end of the hall.
So the entry hall, one on the right, and the one at the end of the hall.
Mhm.
So we came in the entry hall.
Mhm.
There was a door on the right
Yep. Door on the left, door on the right, door on the far end
of the hall.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the left was the parlor,
I
which
took-
has another door to lead on the far end.
It goes deeper in the room.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is door 1.2.
Okay, so and then so we're going in and then it's down. Okay.
So should we go deeper into this room?
That's what Fisher's doing.
Fisher pushed open the door, so
Oh boy.
Okay, here we go.
he
Let's
pushes
do this,
open
boys
the
and
door,
gals.
and the first thing that you catch is strange. It's a glimpse of light, of reflection, as you enter a glass-paneled room with sunlight peeking in as you enter the greenhouse, which has on its northern wall a large, 5 or 6 holes drilled almost into the stone where sunlight comes in and then penetrates the glass, creating a greenhouse where there are tall stone raised hutches with giant mushrooms and what looks to be like some sort of root vegetable and maybe even a giant species of tomato.
Okay, more signs of death root.
Yeah, I'm gonna be looking too.
Take a look around. There are multiple vines, a bit more prominent, a bit more of them here than there were in the parlor.
But there's also other living fruit, vegetables as well.
Sure, yes. Some of them have actually been overtaken by these vines, which seem to kind of choke and pull down some stalks of mushroom and whatnot.
Okay, you can tell me what to roll for this, but Fisher would like to try and ascertain if the sickly roots are avoiding the light.
Sure, make a general perception check. They are not roots, just so you know.
Okay,
they
they're
are,
just
they
vines,
are, they are
vines.
vines.
Thank you.
No problem. They're almost like dark green, black.
Okay, that is a 19.
They do not seem to be avoiding the light.
Okay.
There is another door off to your right.
This rejoins the main hall.
Would it? Seems like it would.
But there are only 3 doors.
But there's only 3 doors, so we must be at the end of the hall. It
Or,
must be
I
long
mean-
enough.
It would link up to wherever.
Then I guess
The
he would say
door
is-
this is behind the main hall or something.
Okay.
Okay.
My dimensions are going to be weird, but it makes sense.
Yeah, you're good.
So this is the
Bless you
greenhouse.
for even trying.
Yeah, right.
All right, cool. So there's the greenhouse right here.
Well, I do remember there was a door to the right back where we started. Do we want to try that one out, see where it might lead, or do we want to head on forward?
Perhaps a quick search for bodies.
In here?
In the new door.
Here.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Perpetually. First thing. So this is Virgil's MO. He's like going in and then immediately hitting the left, circling the room, everywhere, like immediately investigating,
Sure.
sniffing, that kind of thing.
Make a perception check, both Fisher and Virgil, if you're looking for bodies.
Okay, that would be a 22.
Okay.
Not gonna hit that.
This is 24.
No.
Never doubt yourself.
Virgil and Fisher, you start looking for bodies and almost immediately split up. Virgil, you smell something off in probably the back corner. Looks like up in a planter. Fisher, you look up and see a corpse strapped to the
Oh my
ceiling,
gosh.
vines growing out of it. Virgil, you hop up into a planter and see a hand grasping out of the soil, uncovering, as you kind of dig with your canine paws, a face with vines sprouting out from the eyes and mouth.
It has hunger.
You all point this out to the rest of us.
Oh, Shaggy!
Like Zoink Scoobs!
Bodies have been consumed in this room. And we'll point out the one on the ceiling and then eventually over to the one in the planter.
Oh, wow.
How are they dressed? Are they in servants' clothing?
They're dressed in mercenary garb.
Ah. Poor souls didn't even make it out. This is not a way to meet your end, man.
I wonder if I could, make a history check or something, just to see if I know that I don't know what the vines are made of, but have I heard anything about like vines growing out of corpses?
Sure, make a history check. I'm going to say disadvantage on this one.
I'm gonna head to the next door and just kind of
Crack it.
not crack it, but just kind of see if I can move it, if it's unlocked or not.
It is unlocked.
Okay. So I'll just kind of stay a sentry by the door.
Yeah, 10.
10? Yeah. Nothing you've heard of.
This door's free down here if we want to continue on, or, like I said before, we can head back.
Perhaps best not to be blindsided. We may check the right door.
I think that's the right plan.
So you're heading back to the entry hall?
Yeah, Direwolf would agree with that in action.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
You head back uninterrupted to the entry hall and take the door on the right this time. Behind it is a grand dining room completely paneled in dark woods, lit from above by 2 chandeliers. Just like the rest of the lighting in the establishment. In the center of the room, upon a plush and expensive rug, sits a massive dining table and chairs to accompany it. The rug, giant-sized as it is, kind of comes up, the fibers sticking up, come up to about your chest if you were to walk along it. Almost like walking through.
Thick brush.
Yeah, thick brush. Hacking through jungle, so to speak.
It's real big.
There is a fireplace on the far end as well as another door mirroring the one that led to the greenhouse. And on the back wall is another portrait of the family of young Wiskar and his 3 siblings and parents, it would seem. Or not Wiskar, Viscaris.
Fisher's gonna approach the closest chair.
Okay.
And then the smoke is gonna pile up onto it, and he'll apparate in the seat and try and look down at the rug
Sure.
and see if there's any sort of like in a corn maze, see if there's any pockets where like a body or an object may be laying.
Make a perception check for me.
Direwolf would look up at him to see what he might see.
Natural 20. So that is a 25.
25.
Nice.
Just barely. Spot a pockmark in about halfway across.
Under the,
In the
under
carpet.
table.
And as you go down to investigate, you do find a corpse. Half a corpse. The upper half. Clawing its way, it seems, out of a hole that it had been drug into.
Hole
Through
in the
carpet.
floor?
Hole in the floor.
Ooh.
It
Under
goes
the
down.
table? Under the floor, under the table?
Yeah.
What goes down?
Well, I would say this man, but he discontinues.
You do, as you examine this another Genasi mercenary, there's a hole in the top of his head that travels all the way down.
Look through it.
It's just a hole.
You see through it.
I think you need to shake it and ask it a question.
He has been cored.
Ah.
Really getting to the center of the problem here, huh?
Yeah.
The core of the issue.
Yuck. Yuck.
Well,
there is a hole that travels beneath the rug.
so now the question is, do we go down that hole or do we go back further into this manor? I, for one, would like to avoid the hole
Yeah.
with the man that's been cored.
Say this.
Our objective is a giant, and this hole would not fit one.
Right. Do you think maybe we can throw a light into it, see how far it goes?
In agreement.
I do not own one. He doesn't either.
As you were discussing
so-
this, there's a gentle and then fierce breeze that sweeps the room, blowing out the chandeliers. You hear them jangling together. The fireplace begins to crackle louder and louder,
Shite.
and then a chair topples over.
Fisher's gonna walk away from the hole.
Yeah.
to the ground.
Just regroup.
So the light sources are extinguished except for the fireplace,
Which
correct?
is crackling louder and louder, and then a chair almost seemingly is pushed over, laddering to the ground.
Do I, with my locate creature, do I sense anything?
You don't feel the presence of Viscaris around.
I'm gonna go ahead and drop that and throw up detect magic.
Pervasive.
I think now is the time we leave.
All around you.
What type?
Conjuration? Abjuration?
Oh boy. There's a lot of magic in here.
Yeah. Seems like not the place to be right now,
Yeah,
folks. And I'm gonna
let's get
start heading towards the door.
Yep.
As you're heading towards the door, the portrait clatters down onto the ground in front of you.
Yeah, let's go.
You exit the dining room, back in the entry hall now.
Shut the door.
As you go to shut the door, before you shut it, it slams shut of its own accord.
Yeah, you stay back there.
So, Virgil, the dire wolf, would go back up to the door and try to nudge it open.
Not moving.
Oh, kind of wanted to go down that hole.
Well, let's maybe
The
open.
hole was maybe human sized. About half a human went through the hole. I don't think it would fit a dire wolf.
That's okay. All right.
We surmise it is the path to finding another vine.
There is something that is trying to have us go a certain way, it seems like.
Or the house was not expecting dinner guests.
Did you see the shape of that rug? Unkept. I wouldn't want guests over either.
Well, should we go back where we were going in that direction, or open another?
There is another unexplored door that is at the end of the entry hall, and then there's another one on the side of the greenhouse. Maybe those lead to the same room.
Maybe we could check.
The dire wolf in action would go toward the end of the entry halls.
Okay.
It's unexplored.
Are you guys gonna open that?
Yeah.
It is a
I'm gonna-
double set of doors.
Just hang on the 6 again, keeping an eye out.
I'm gonna Aragorn that sucker.
It's a pull. I'm sorry.
I'll middle-aged Aragorn it.
Well, as a brawny, buff tiefling, you kind of push in on it, and it almost bounces out towards you, and then you pull it. Opening onto the grand hall. Checkered floor of marble and polished obsidian decorates this chamber, with the main feature of the grand hall being the double staircase descending from either side of a walk-around balcony to the second floor. Similar to the entry hall, 3 doors can be found here. One on the left, one on the right, and one on the back between the 2 staircases.
Why are there so many doors?
So many doors.
Okay, so you said one on the right, one on the left, right?
Mhm.
As soon as you walk in. Or fairly-
Pretty close, about a third of the way down.
Okay, so left,
Greenhouse.
right.
Question mark.
You're mapping.
So again, kind of casing the immediate perimeter, not to go too far from the, maybe to those doors and back,
Sure.
and kind of around in that area, just sniffing, investigating,
Okay.
looking for something to alert the team to. I'm
Make
now
a-
Scooby Doo.
Make a perception check. Are you venturing pretty far into the Grand Hall to do this?
About as far as those doors.
Okay. Take a sniff at both doors. Make a perception check.
Perception 13.
13. The pervasive sense of vegetable rot persists, but that's all that you can kind of pick up. You go to both doors and can't perceive anything behind them, really.
At this point, are we able to make note of that smell as well?
At this point, probably so.
Okay. It's still
Um,
faint, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this chamber is about 100 feet tall, being 2 stories.
Oof.
And what did you say? What was the question?
If we could start to perceive that same
People
stench.
besides the wolf.
Oh,
Yeah.
got it.
I guess Gendry will kind of to the group is like, we heard that he was last seen on the very precipice of this manor, right? Looking through. Your bird friend said, right? Yeah.
We assume it would not take 3 weeks to travel the length of the house.
You would shake his head.
I would hope so. Well, it's a lot of doors.
Okay,
And
so
you do see there is a wraparound balcony that connects to more doors
Oh my
on the second
goodness.
floor. All
Okay,
closed.
second floor.
Shall we cover the first floor?
That's
guess.
my guess.
As a group,
Yeah.
We would like to know if there is the heart of a plant in a room downstairs.
Yeah.
I didn't know plants had hearts. You learn something new every day.
They normally do not stab through mercenaries.
Well, depends where you're from. First door, then.
Which door are you going then?
Fisher would head right.
Right?
Yep.
I'm gonna follow
Keeping
suit.
with the theme of not getting surrounded.
The door slides open.
And this is the one in the grand hall, right?
It's the one next to the dining room.
It's in the grand hall. Yeah, it's north of the dining room, and I mean not really north, but it's in front of the dining room and to the right of the grand hall.
Thank you.
Correct. Opening onto what seems to be a large kitchen
Fitting.
with towering counters, clay ovens, and massive cast iron wood fire stoves lining the back, burning away. All manner of giant pots and pans hang from hooks in the ceiling.
Is there a pantry?
Make a perception check as you guys kind of wander in.
Is your detect magic still up?
Mhm.
Ooh.
Still pervasive. It feels like it's almost this wispy sort of ethereal magic where it's not quite there, but then is, and it's almost behind you. No, it's in front of you. No, it's above you.
Still the same types.
Almost like there's this core and then just arcane energy drifting off of it.
Is there, do I feel any like necromancy as well?
No necromancy.
Okay.
17 perception.
So we're in the kitchen.
No pantry. It seems like all of the foodstuffs were stored in a rack of shelves bolted to the ceiling around the counters, but all the food seems to have been either eaten or mildewed away. You do notice as you guys are walking in a subtle clink clink as some of the pots and pans, copper and pewter, are clinking together.
Like as though by a draft.
As though by a draft, and as you guys enter, it starts to clink, clink, a little bit louder. Bring! Start to aggressively crash against one another, some of them clattering to the ground, some of them flying off.
The theme of the kitchenware finding displeasure with us continues.
Yeah.
And then investigation around the room again.
Make an investigation check.
That'd be a 21.
A 21. You do find a small trap door, it looks like leading to a basement in the corner of the room, but that's about it. You do see vines again descending from the ceiling, some of them wrapping around pots, sticking out of walls, coming down from the ground as well.
You would alert you. Whatever a Dower Wolf says. Probably something more like.
Giant-sized trapdoor?
Giant-sized trapdoor. It looks like it's probably, an extensive larder or some sort of basement, probably akin to a pantry.
Flip it.
It is locked.
Pick it.
Make a thieves' tool check for me.
Cool. I have thieves' tools.
I don't, so go for it.
Oh, man. That is an 11.
Get your thieves' tools in,
Or 12.
and you realize this is a very large lock, and these are very small tools.
Always worth a try. Now,
I can try something.
by all means, what are you gonna try?
Gonna knock.
Sure.
The spell.
Yep. You. Door unlocks.
Flip it.
Now, I don't know if there's any traps under here.
I didn't check.
It creaks open.
Oh, that's going on mouth Foley. the sound it made when the larder door opened.
Inside is a black hole descending into the darkness. Stairs going down.
Hello?
Hello? Hello?
Direwolf pushes past,
Oh,
walks down.
oh, we're going down.
Well, the direwolf is going down.
Descend.
Now, is there any light leak?
There's no light down here.
No, what I'm saying is the natural light that it might have been in the kitchen, any that bleeds through, is it like suffused?
It does leak into it's
Okay.
it's not unnatural darkness.
Okay.
So it does leak into it, but after about 5 feet, it does go back to pretty much pitch black as you descend. 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 feet down. These giant stairs, meant for a giant, much more difficult to or to travel. But you do make it to a basement floor. Dark around you.
Does the smell become more pervasive in any way?
Make a perception check.
I'll do that because also it's because of smell.
Mm-hmm.
What's it? 26.
That's a big old 7 on my part.
To you, no, but to your scent, it doesn't become more pervasive, but it becomes.
The change in
You
character.
kind of look around and you see that there is a kind of twisting vine that spreads out to all parts of this basement and goes up and out and down, almost like a little tree trunk.
But can I? Is there anything I can see? Can I see? I can just smell that.
No, you don't have dark vision, so you can't see anything. This is kind of out of smell and then bumping into things.
Okay.
Would it be possible to light a torch?
Yeah, you can light a torch, and then you can see kind of a black writhing vine tentacle trunk that kind of almost like a pillar goes up and down and out.
Does it look rooted here?
Doesn't look like it's a root, but it looks like it is a nexus point for a lot of these vines.
Okay.
Whether that is the plant you're looking for, or whether that's a clot within the organism, you're not sure.
Is it okay? That's interesting. Does it look grounded here? How does it touch the ground?
It goes through the ceiling and through the ground and out into the walls,
Okay, it's
pouring through pretty much everything.
yeah.
Do I pick up on any more or less magic now?
Less magic.
Less magic.
I'm going to put a torch to this.
Okay. It creeps back from the fire and lashes out at you. So I'm going to need to roll an attack roll against you.
Like the root?
One of the vines.
One of the vines?
Let me get my...
One would say that's not a smart move. Gendry's not a smart man.
What did you do again?
I put a torch to this clot that we found. It worked on the smaller ones.
Let's see here.
Spanks you. One of the vines. Ha! No.
Presumably, if only one of us dies on each floor, the last one will win the quest on the third floor.
Does an
At least
18
that.
hit?
18 does hit.
Then all three of these tentacles that lash out at you hit.
Oh my.
Well,
As
one, is there a particular range in which they are attacking?
they are coming from the core of the plant, because that's the thing you're trying to burn.
Right. So my question is, if the first one were to strike me and I were able to move from that, could I potentially get out of their reach?
Like with a reaction.
Like in
Yeah.
initiative.
Not an initiative.
Because this is kind of like a reactionary round of attacking back at you.
So this would be, where is it? Misty Escape.
Okay.
If I were to take damage, I can use my reaction to turn invisible and teleport 60 feet to an unoccupied space.
You can do that, so you would only take 1 tentacle.
Cool, because I feel like this is gonna hurt.
You take I'm bad at math. 10 points of piercing damage as one of the tentacles pierces your shoulder, tries to kind of pull you in, but you turn and miss, just missing the other 2 vines.
So, for those of you who don't understand what just happened, I poofed and I am no longer visible.
You hear kind of a screeching sound from the fire as it the vines kind of squelch around it and extinguish the flame.
This is not our favorite plant.
So,
Gendry is nowhere to be seen.
yeah, I guess, yeah, and obviously no one is anywhere to be seen.
And it's pitch black as the torch gutters out.
Okay. Can anyone...
Fisher will grab the scruff of the wolf and begin walking to the stairs.
Yeah, would lead him to the stairs. Or, at this point, he would come back as Virgil, and Fisher is now grabbing the back of Virgil's neck, and he's like, I said not to touch me.
Doesn't let go, just keeps going to the stairs.
And at that point, Virgil would cast Produce Flame.
Okay. Lights up the area.
Yeah, lights up the area. Basically a 10-foot radius.
Sure.
And dim light for an additional 10 feet. So.
What is Bryn and Gendry doing?
Gendry would probably be... Because he only moved about 40, 50 feet back from where he was initially hit. So I guess as you produce flame, you see the kind of not silhouetted, but the now visible and wounded, not too bad off, but definitely that hole has been bored. Looking
all
at
the way through.
Right, but looking at the wound, is it similar to...
Very much so.
Right, well, I found what might have done in those fellas at the front.
Oh, that looks awful.
Yeah, it's not good.
How are you holding up?
I'm alright. It's not the worst I've been dealt. I'm still good to fight.
Okay, that's good. Well, while I was the wolf, and I smelled a very pervasive vegetation smell, very kind of rotting, and I believe it to be coming from these vines here. And if I can make some assumptions that where this goes down in the ground and also goes up, I believe it has its roots somewhere underneath this manor and maybe causing all manner of evils. If I could speak.
Yeah, I wonder if we can find the core of this.
So the question really is, should we go further up or go further down? And avoiding the flames, he would begin to look for any means of egress downward.
Okay, make an investigation check.
Fisher
guide myself here.
Fisher has been hired to find a giant and does not feel the need to exterminate a plant without necessity.
The investigation, you said?
Mm-hmm.
It is 18. No, I'm sorry. It is 17.
No pathways down from the basement.
Any other?
The only hint of downward would be the actual plant itself, which has come up from the ground.
So it's pretty much encased in ground at that point, correct?
It is.
It's not
punching through the ground.
It doesn't feel like the ground is pulled away from it in any way.
No, it is burrowed through the ground.
Okay. No means of further exploration down here. I didn't see anything or we can go any further down. So perhaps we should explore the rest of the manor.
Yeah. Thinking back to how pervasive the vines were deeper into the parlor, were those vines like thinner than these?
These are very well. So this is. It looks like a tree trunk, but it is actually a compilation, a large amount of vines together to form a trunk.
Okay, so it does look like
It's like a bunch of tentacles together.
thicker here. Okay,
Yes.
okay.
And,
Yeah, I agree with you. I think we should find a way down.
I would like to also cast Speak with Plants to see if I can talk to this thing.
Sure. What are you saying to the plant?
Sure, I'd say, oops. Oh, great. Tentacled vegetation. We mean no harm here, but I do see that we have caused harm in trying to understand more of what you do, and I apologize on behalf of my friend who burned you with torches and fireballs and other means of fire. I know that you do not take kindly to that, and I think in their curiosity they made a hasty maneuver. But we would like to know who are you, and what do you have? Why do you have interest in this home and the people and residents within?
See the tentacles kind of shift in recognition of language. You hear deep within your mind a resonance, a deep guttural voice, slowly creep in.
A meal has entered my home. Welcome.
Well,
Make yourself comfortable.
well, I do have to say we shouldn't be staying long. Just need to find our friend and be on our way.
I can help you find anything.
Well, we're looking for, now that you ask, we're looking for a large man by the name of Viscaris Nimbus. He's the man in the pictures. You may have recognized him maybe 3 weeks ago, peering out of a window.
Drifting down from the ceiling are vines kind of circling around you.
Come to me. I will show.
Virgil.
Guys, I seem to be in a bit of trouble here.
Come.
I'm
We
gonna-
hunger.
They're reaching out towards you.
Uh-oh.
I'm not very
and he
capable,
runs-
so I'm gonna try to pull him out.
Yeah, he runs away.
Okay. Are you making your way back up the stairs?
Yes.
You see them stretching up the stairs. It's kind of giving slow, deliberate chase as you run up the stairs. Shutting the door behind you?
Yeah, get
You
out.
hear a honk as the door automatically locks behind you, it seems. This seems to have a sort of auto-locking mechanism.
Ooh.
And that's where we're going to end this episode of The One Shot.
Woohoo!
See you all next time.
Oh, the whole time I was like, I want to talk to these plants. Oh my gosh.